They didn't waste a single second spinning the block and getting that money right back, not one beat. And he just had to sit there and eat that. But before I even dive into my overall takeaway from this episode, I want to make it clear that moving forward, most of my current and future episodes are going to start with me critiquing the pod as a whole. And honestly, today's episode was not bad at all. It felt loose, it flowed naturally, Mark was in his bag with the segues like always, Mona was getting her ish off too, and trust me, I've got plenty to say about that, but I'm saving all of that for Patreon. If y'all want to hear me really unpack that, go subscribe. Overall, it was a solid episode. Joe stepped out for a minute and it gave everybody else space to really talk their talk. They got their ish off, they bonded a little, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, listen to this. They definitely let him know that what he did was foul. And Emanny kind of got to duck behind the whole, I was in Vegas, I didn't interview her, I didn't say anything angle. Plus, my co-host is best friends with her. And before I even get into critiquing what they were saying about Emanny having Sam on, I found what he was saying about Sayo very interesting. He was clearly throwing subtle jabs at Joe for not giving any, how should I put it, not leverage, not even leverage really, but ownership. Emanny is walking into this with a straight 50-50 mindset. What's mine is yours, what's yours is mine on this platform. Now, he did follow that up by saying he gives that freedom because he wants his co-hosts to bring 100% to the pod just like he does. And that sounds great on paper, but if this pod really takes off, which it absolutely has the potential to do, he's not going to keep that same energy when it comes to ads, syndication, and real big boy money. Right now, it's easy because people are paying him directly, so he controls the narrative, he has the voice. But once those deals start rolling in, that exact language he was using is gonna matter, and that's what Joe was trying to warn him about. Like, yo, people already accuse me of stealing based on logic like that. When it comes to this business, you can't just walk in off friendship vibes thinking she won't play me, I won't play her, we're good. Because at the end of the day, once the real money gets involved, that's when everything changes. And once people start making moves without looping the other person in, that's when the snake stuff creeps in. That's when it turns into, oh, he backstabbed me. No, he didn't stab you in the back. He was simply offered an opportunity and didn't need you to be present to sign off on it. That's the part nobody ever wants to address. Why was I even put in that position to begin with? Because that's the point Emanny is making. And here's the slippery slope. What happens if Sayo gets approached with a deal that's all female-driven ads or strictly women-focused platforms and Emanny says no? Does Sayo get that same power if she's presented with something and can cut him out or override him? That's when things get messy. That's why Joe was like, hey, watch how you're framing this. But at the same time, I get his angle. He wanted her to have this moment. He wanted it to fall under her name, like this was her run. He gave her the keys while he was gone, something I already talked about on Patreon, and Joe caught it too.
He can step away and the platform still makes money, and that's tricky. Because if I'm Scion and I don't even know her pay situation, I'm assuming Emanny is cutting the checks. But if it's not a flat rate, if it's episode-based pay, then how do we break down the numbers for the episodes she ran without him there? That was the first thing I clocked. I go straight to the data. I don't even care about YouTube because for whatever reason, he's still trying to build that side. I'm looking at Patreon, and the Patreon engagement for her episode with Sam involved, whether it was because of Sam or not, was just as high, if not higher, than the episodes with Emanny and Scion together. So what happens when she comes back like, all right, how are we structuring payment for this episode? Or is it monthly? Like, man, there's a lot to unpack here. And I've actually thought about this myself. Every time I try to bring my brother onto any platform I'm on, I always say, before we even start, let's lock this in. I want it clear. You get 50%, I get 50%. Or we split it evenly after we subtract the expenses tied to the content. And every time he tells me, nah, I'm not worried about the money. And I'm like, I hear you, but I am, because I already get paid for my content. I don't know how everybody structures this stuff. And I don't ever want somebody popping up on the back end saying, yeah, y'all should have done this differently, when all of it could have been avoided from the jump. But there were a lot of things they were touching on when it came to Sam. It honestly doesn't matter that you weren't the one directly interviewing her. The issue is that she was on your platform at all, because people like us in the JBP ecosystem and the ones heavily supporting Emanny right now are mostly folks who were around when Rory was still on the show and know that entire backstory with Sam. And it would be one thing if Sam never turned Rory down. It would be different if Rory never got down on one knee at the Rock Nation brunch, but he did. That's way too much crossover. I get it, he's a dad now, he's got a kid, he's in a different relationship, cool. but there's too much history there for her to pop up on your platform and you act like it's nothing. And then, while they're grilling you, rightfully so by the way, and saying none of them would have done that dumbish, you're sitting there like, what? I'd never do that to any of y'all, or to him. Hold up, you already did. You literally already did. And I keep circling back to the potential of the platform Emanny is building on Patreon, because eventually there are going to be people connected to Joe that Joe wants zero association with. And the hope is that Emanny knows when to say no. But what happens if Tahiri pops up like, yeah, I want to come on your platform and cut your hair? Is Emanny shutting that down immediately? I don't know. I honestly don't know. And maybe I'm overthinking it like I usually do. Overall though, I still think the episode was good. I just wanted to highlight that piece. And once again, I talked about Mona and the impact she had on today's episode over on Patreon. A lot happened, like a lot happened. And considering how loud I was on the hate train, when she does well, I've got to be just as loud on the praise. Same energy, same obnoxious bravado. But anyway, y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the page if you haven't already, and if you have, you already know how we rock it. Now moving forward, I don't even know if YouTube will let me do this, but it would be dope if they did. Instead of me pinning comments, I wish I could drop polls directly in the comment section so we could vote on the topic or grade the pod in real time. So for now, drop a number from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, on how you felt about today's Patreon episode overall. And going forward, I'll try to be more consistent about pulling y'all into the conversation when it comes to production, topics, all of that. But anyway, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.